now that we've got level start, the event capturing, let's move on to player path click based. So for this one, we just need to know where the player clicked at the time so that we can track where they clicked. Radio. So let's switch over to, I gotta stop alt tabbing to the wrong window. Back into Unity, back into the code, and let's go to our analytics manager, and we'll look at our level started event, and we will copy and paste that guy and call it player path click based. Whoops. Based. This one is going to need to have a vector 3 for click position.
Cool.
Our event type is going to be, we'll just call it player path click based. Get our base attributes, and now we'll add in the attributes specific to this one. And for these, we would like to have, let's change the name of this guy to player path.
Player path
Click. And what do we want to change in new? Player path click, we want to add an attribute. We are going to need to have 3 attributes in this guy. 1, 2, 3. And for this, we would like to put in the click position. So we'll call this one, for short, we'll call it P_X, so player X, and then player Y, and player Z. Now, Nick, do you say Z or Z?
I say Z.
Z.
But I always say Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Why? What's with the switch?
Because it's the name of the show, man.
Say cool, cool. Say whip, whip. Say cool whip, cool whip.
Cool whip, yeah.
Anyway, back on topic. Alright, so we could pass in the click position as itself, but that is, the click position dot X. But because it is a float, it will have lots of decimals on the end of it.
Nice.
Now, for what we're doing, we are only going to keep 1 decimal place. String.format, and that is going to be formatting code is always fun. Whoops. We want, what is it? It's curly bracket 0, close curly bracket, and then that says we want click position X to go into the 0, but we only want 1 decimal place to go into there. Radio. And the reason for that is when we are looking at when we're getting the data back into the game, if we look at, yes, I know I've got a broken thing. Let's click on enemy, and we'll move him to...
Oh, you clicked on player.
Player, yeah, I meant to say player, sorry. 0.1. You can see there's a little bit of a difference there. He moves slightly.
Did he?
If I can line it up and then go, there we go. Alright. So now we go 0.2.
Yeah. Cool.
So it moved that much. So we want to keep track of where people are clicking, and if we put 2 decimal places on this one, 2, 1, there's really not much going on there to change.
What about 2.5?
2.5, sure, that's a little bit, but if we're doing that, we may as well go just 2 to 3.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so what we're talking about there is what granularity of capture do we want to have. Now, generally speaking, you want to capture too much and then format it a bit later to get it down.
Okay.
To get it more specific to what you want. But because...
More data is good data.
More data is good data, yeah. You never know when you might want to switch back and get it.
Yeah.
But in this case, my argument is that, well, 1 decimal place is plenty, 2 decimal places is overkill.
Yep.
And yeah, if this was a bigger game world and the units were more applicable to you to have 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places, then go for that. But in this case, the difference of clicking from here to here, I would want them to group together and say you're in the same spot, because it's just
pretty negligible.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's go in here. Now we've got X. Let's put in Y and Z. Y and Z, and that is all we need for this one. No, wait, we also wanted to keep track of how many times they have clicked throughout the entire level, didn't we?
Right.
I did put that in here, didn't I? I didn't put that in there. No, I missed one.
Well, that's important.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. doing great at this. Let's put in here click counter. So we can see what's the number of times people are clicking every single level.
Yes.
And so we'll put in here. Now, I'm not going to pass in click counter into this.
Oh.
The analytics will keep track of it itself. By saying click counter plus plus. Because you want to have, let's say you're the game developer and I'm the analytics developer.
Yes.
And then I go, hey, can you put this analytics code on your game? You're going to go, yeah, cool. What type of things do I want to have to set up? Remember that I'm pretty stressed here and I've got the game to go because it's crunch time, and usually analytics gets left to the end, unfortunately. If you missed a variable, or, oh my god, I forgot to update the click counter at this position, then really you've ruined my analytics. So from my point of view as the analytics developer, I would want to give as little work to you as possible to do.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So as much that can be maintained inside of the analytics library would be maintained there.
Cool.
So just on that note, I did say that analytics tends to come at the end, and then people are stressed and overlook a lot of things. I find that to be really disappointing and upsetting. So yeah, put analytics in at the start, everyone. Think about it. Okay, click counter. We will put this onto the analytics manager, and so we'll say public int click counter. And inside of start, we'll make a new method here, and we'll call it reset analytics. Now that we've done that, we'll put in here and say click counter is equal to 0.
Yep.
And every time we start a level, yes, every time we start a level attempt, we'll say analytics manager dot I forgot to make it public, didn't I? I did forget to make it public.
Oh, right. Okay.
Whoops. Dot instance dot reset analytics.
Cool.
Okay, awesome. So now there's that argument of, hey, shouldn't this go into the analytics manager?
No, because you might want to reset analytics at different points.
Exactly. My argument to that one was going to be maybe this is something that the game would want to present back and say, this is your 3rd attempt at the level, this is your 4th attempt at the level. You remember Ninja Gaiden? If you played it too many times and you died too many times, then it would put the big fluffy, you could switch to easy mode and it would put the big fluffy bracelet on you.
No.
You don't know that one?
Well, which one was that
The
from?
Xbox one.
Oh, I didn't play the Xbox one.
You missed out on a great game, Nick.
I only played the NES one.
Fair enough. Have you got a PS Vita?
Yes.
Then you should get Ninja Gaiden on that.
Right.
It's very cool. It's one of my favourite games.
Alright, cool. I'll check it out.
Anyway, so if you die too many times in that, then it tells you there's easy mode. But if you put on easy mode, it puts this thing over your wrist to say, look at your pink fluffiness, you little wuss man. Anyway, so there's the level attempt, something like that. The front end code of the game, not the analytics, would want to be keeping track of that for the of level attempt for its own sources. And because of that, I'm going to leave it out here. But click-based tracking, or the amount of clicks, I don't want to have the game developer remember that every single time.
Fair
so
enough.
what I can put in here, but I can then argue other things would want to go elsewhere. All right, where were we? So we've now got reset analytics being called when the analytics manager starts, just to set everything that it needs to. Click counter is the only thing in there at the moment. Then we are coming down to our click-based tracking. So we are going to add in another attribute here and call it click counts. Is going to be click counter dot to string. Great, so now we have this click counter in there, and our player path, our metric for this one is just going to be clicks. I'm going to call it clicks. I'm going to call it player path click. Player path click. So every single time that we do have another click event, we can just add it in onto another one. Because remember, this guy I'm considering to be an attribute of the click. So it might be the 5th click of the player in the level, but really we're going to keep track of each click as its own individual thing.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. And if you're still at home thinking, I don't quite get that, you will when you see us deal with the data in Spark and presenting back to users.
Yep.
Rightio, so that is all we need for... No, well, we should test it. We should test it. When do we want to call it? We would want it every single time the player clicks, which would be on players, handle left click. So here we've confirmed that they are allowed to be clicking as input right now because the game has started. Is in the correct state. So let's go into handle left click and we'll say, did they click somewhere? Yes, they did. Let's only do it when they actually are able to move, because if you click on somewhere you can't move to, do you want to track that click?
No.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do. So you can see where people are clicking that they shouldn't be. Or not that they shouldn't be, that is not going to cause any action.
Yes.
Alright, so I'm not going to put it into here, have they clicked on ground. We're going to put it into where did they... Oh, so now what are we tracking here? We're clicking, tracking the mouse position, which is going to be screen point to Ray. We forgot to keep track of where we're actually clicking. So you know what? Keeping that argument aside, I'm going to keep it inside of when did they click on the ground. So when they have clicked on the ground, we need to know where is it that they did click, so we can track that with hitinfo.point.
Wait, why can't we just use hidden?
This is going to pass in a vector3.
Oh yeah, cool.
And that means we need to put in here analyticsmanager.instance dot player path click based.
Okay.
So now when they click somewhere, we'll check, is it the ground they have clicked on? Yes, great. Let's keep track of where they clicked on the ground. Yep. Let's go into the game. And now we'll press space to start the game. The game has started, and every single time we click, we should be seeing more of these events firing down the bottom.
Cool.
So we'll move there and we'll quickly take a look at one of these guys. What does it have? Here, X 19.9, nice. Y is 0, which makes sense because we're not elevated off the ground yet, and 42 because we're at the 42th Z position. 42th?
42th.
Anyway, whereas we click over here, we should see it's changing a little bit. Hang on, why isn't it changing? Because we've got to scroll down. And now click on this guy, 31 and 58. Nice. So it is updating as we click around the place.
Sweet.
Alright, cool. That is going to finish off this video.
Nice.